I want to jump into some fall camp updates, specifically around players that are shining. And I want to go down kind of player by player, some things that we're hearing out of each player, some things that are going on. First, if you're watching on X, make sure to jump over and over onto the YouTube channel. We're going to continue on YouTube, but we're going to kick X out of here. And so if you're watching on X right now, if you're watching live on X, jump over to the YouTube channel. That's where we're going to continue the show. And we're going to cut the X stream off now. So again, jump over to the YouTube show. If you don't know where we are on YouTube, just search Oklahoma VOCFB, all one word, Oklahoma VOCFB, and it should pop up. If you're having issues, then hopefully we can help you from there. But appreciate everybody tuning in on X, but jump over to the YouTube if you want to keep on watching today. But let's go ahead and get into it. The rest of the show. Some standouts in fall camp, starting off with Courtland Guillory, a guy that we have heard a lot throughout the entirety of really the off season. I feel like we've been hearing his name pop up a lot, and for very good reason. The first time that I heard very good news, the best news, that the biggest jump from Courtland Guillory was during summer workouts and what he was able to do there, putting on mass and really working hard. And one of the hardest working guys. That's what I've heard that. I know Brent Venables mentioned that. I've heard that from several other sources. And so Courtland Guillory is a guy that keeps on being thrown in there and keeps on being mentioned. That's a guy to watch out for because he is shining in fall camp right now. I will mention Jim Nagy in his tweet. I wish I would have thought ahead of time and pulled this up. But Jim Nagy kind of talked about, hey, just so everyone knows, fall camp depth charts mean nothing. And right now you're kind of seeing that because you're seeing some guys that I truly believe, like I'd be willing to make a bet on some of these guys being in there on the higher up on the depth chart, and they're not high up on the depth chart right now. So don't take too much stock into it. But when you see certain guys shine in fall camp, don't listen to just the small clips like Whit Neubauer, for example. He's not going to be competing for the starting job. You do love to see dimes like that from Whit Neubauer, though, for sure, because if you're seeing great stuff from him like that, that just makes you feel a little bit more confident in what you got sitting back there. And, hey, we need to close this game out, but we're already leading by 40, and we want to throw in the third string guy. Throw him in there and let him get some reps. And so, you feel confident that he's not going to go in there and give the other team some sort of momentum at the end of the game, even if it doesn't matter. So you love to see the depth, regardless of how you want to look at it. You hope you don't ever have to see the depth, but you love having it there, obviously, for obvious reasons. So anyways, Courtland Guillory, though, is a guy that keeps on shining since summer camps or summer workouts. That's a guy that you have just seen so much. He's delivered all kinds of standout performances in individual drills, and one-on-one drills. There's all kinds of stuff out there on Courtland Guillory right now. And, I know over on OU Insider, they were talking, and I believe it was Parker put out a bit, a piece about Courtland Guillory and talking about him and how he's one of those guys. A source kind of mentioned how he's one of those guys that's not afraid to go make a big play. He's not afraid to go in there and disrupt and do something himself. And he shows a lot of trust in himself. He's also got a tremendous technique about him and instincts, if I can get my words to properly come out of my mouth today. But again, I've made this comparison, and I'm seeing more comparisons to it of how Eli Bowen came in last season. You saw Eli Bowen come in, I believe didn't even start until week 5, but came in and played a huge piece, a huge role for the Oklahoma Sooners defense. And, some great stuff, absolutely great stuff. Love to see that from Courtland Guillory. He's got an extremely high ceiling, and he's one of those guys, too, that I know I've been hearing a lot, too, about him being a guy that's so physical and ready for the game that he's like a 3-year guy. So watch out for Courtland Guillory. I think that's a guy that is going to stand out in fall practice, and possibly a name that you could see popping up week 1 even. And especially if things are going the way they are in fall camp, knock on wood, it's going to get better, right? So if things are going the way they are in fall camp, or just with Eli Bowen, they're taking every precaution with him. So even if they just want to be extra safe, they may throw Courtland Guillory in there just to keep Eli Bowen on the side for now. So definitely a name to remember. I know it's been a name that's been mentioned a lot, but I think it's going to be mentioned even more. We might see some significant playing time from Courtland Guillory later on in the season.